You ever see three grown adults discover all at once that their rent just shot up 1,000%? I mean, literally, 1 minute, they're acting like they're running the world. Next thing you know, I'm sitting at the head of their precious conference table, coffee in hand, watching their faces melt right into their lease agreements. The treasurer, some guy in a beige golf shirt, is actually whispering under his breath, "This has to be illegal." Yeah, buddy. Good luck with that. And across from me, Ela Mercer, president of the Red Bluff Bluffs HOA, is stabbing at her contract with one of those nails that could double as a box cutter. "This is extortion," she snaps, all righteous fury. "We will fight this. We will take you to court. We'll do whatever it takes." And I just smile, calm as can be. "You can absolutely take your landlord to court," I tell her. "Just make sure your lawyer actually reads page 3, especially that bit where you agreed to arbitration and acknowledged my right to adjust rents at market rate when the property changes hands." Elaine looks up slow, like maybe she finally gets it. "Sale," she says. I slide the deed across the table, freshly stamped by the county, sitting there like a death certificate. "Yeah," I say, "congratulations. I am your new landlord." Silence thick enough to slice with a butter knife. And right then, through the glass doors behind them, I can see the townhomes where all this started, where my family's ranch stood for generations before anyone even thought to call something a visual corridor. Elaine's face goes sheet white. "You," she whispers like she's seen a ghost. "You're the ranch guy." I take a sip of coffee. "Yes, Elaine, the ranch guy you gave 24 hours to disappear. Funny thing about land, it doesn't forget who used to own it." "Well, since we're getting personal, my name's Jake Rowe. I'm 38, civil engineer by trade, ranch kid by birth. My family's place, Rowe Ranch, sat on 40 acres of high desert outside Red Bluff for almost a century. The kind of place where folks used to wave from their trucks just because, I don't know, they hadn't discovered cruise control yet or therapy. It wasn't some giant movie ranch, just a weathered old house, a long crooked barn, some cattle, a windmill that screamed bloody murder when the wind shifted, and my dad insisting she's fine whenever the roof leaned a little too far. When my folks passed, I got the ranch. By then, the developers were circling, sniffing around for land and HOA meeting fodder. They built the Red Bluff Bluffs, a Western-themed subdivision with street names like Cactus Ridge and Sunset Spur, despite not having a cactus in sight, and most sunsets blocked by their own stucco. They wanted my land, offered low, I said no, came back with more, still no. So they built right up around me, literally boxed us in behind a fake split-rail fence and some landscaping rocks. Then, of course, they handed control to the HOA. And then came Elaine, mid-50s, salon, blonde gold, everything. The type who says, per my last email out loud, she moved into the biggest house on the fanciest cul-de-sac and declared herself queen or president of Red Bluff Bluffs. Her kingdom, beige houses, rustic charm community pools, where even pool floats are outlawed, and trash cans hidden like state secrets. Our ranch, seen from their sidewalks, was a crime didn't match, didn't coordinate, didn't even have a pergola. To her, it was a problem. To me, it was the last reminder of what this place looked like before the brochures. The first letter came in a plastic sleeve notice of violation signed to occupant former Rowe Ranch parcel. Apparently, I was breaking about 6 rules I'd never agreed to: non-compliant fencing, unsightly outbuildings, visible tractors, and get this, presence of livestock within the visual corridor. Please correct within 30 days or face fines. I just laughed, grabbed a Sharpie, wrote, "Not in your HOA." Returned to sender and dropped it in the mail. Felt like a win. A week later, the email lands in my inbox. "While your parcel is technically outside the original plat, our attorney says we have adjacent influence authority over properties that impact community aesthetics." I laughed so hard I almost choked. That was the drizzle before the downpour. Next thing, Elaine's at my fence line in a sun hat and heels, explaining that my barn isn't architecturally aligned with the HOA's vision. Volunteers, the types who count blades of grass, started snapping photos from the path. Got a note taped to my mailbox asking if I'd consider painting the barn a neutral community appropriate color. I ignored them all. The letters turned nasty. We reserve the right to pursue emergency action if you refuse to cooperate. I called the county. The zoning guy, big mustache attitude to match, just rolled his eyes. You're fine. Barn's grandfathered and predates everything. HOA's got no power outside their fence line. Just document everything. So I did. Saved every letter, every friendly chat at the fence, every email. Then came the drought. Costs up, cattle down. I sold most of the herd, kept a couple horses, took on more engineering gigs to keep the lights on. Suddenly vacant land was hot investors hunting for rentals. My ranch. Now it wasn't just an eyesore, it was prime real estate. You could practically hear Elaine grinding her teeth from across the wash. And then Judgment Day. Hot, dusty morning, I'm fighting my old tractor and up rolls a white SUV with the HOA logo. Then another code enforcement. Out steps Elaine, clipboard guy, and a lawyer sweating through his suit. Mr. Rowe, we've had reports your barn is unsafe. They hand me a structural assessment full of close-ups of peeling paint like that proves anything. Elaine stands there, arms crossed, doing her best for the safety of our residents' routine. The lawyer steps up. We believe we can pursue an emergency teardown. I flip through their report. That beam's solid. That crack's superficial. I'm a civil engineer. I fix this stuff. They didn't care. Pending formal inspection, we recommend immediate mitigation demolition of the barn, possibly the house. Elaine gives me the sales pitch. Sell to us now. We'll fold your land into phase 2. Everyone wins. She offers a number way below market, not even close. I pass. An hour later, after some fake inspection from 20 feet away, clipboard guy's back. You have 24 hours to demolish the barn, or the county will do it for you at your expense. Elaine's smiling like she's already picking out tile for the new model home, or you can just sell and spare yourself the trouble. I take the notice, slide it in my pocket. So I've got 24 hours to figure out exactly how to make you regret this, I say, quiet as a prayer. I didn't panic. Drove straight to the county office, got every document I could pull, my parcel file, the HOA complaints, the emergency order. Then I dug deeper, found an address tied to the original developer, a shell company called Red Bluff Holdings, LLC. Turns out the developer defaulted years ago. The bank offloaded a bunch of parcels, commercial land rental strips, the HOA's own office space, to a regional investment group. They just sat on it, collected rent, never stepped foot in Red Bluff. I called him. Met a guy named Trevor, couldn't care less about HOAs or history, just wanted to make his numbers and clock out by 5. You own these ground leases, I ask, pointing at the townhouses, the HOA office, the overflow lot. Yeah, sure. But we're thinking of selling. Whole thing's a headache. You interested, I'll buy it, I say. He blinks. You got that kind of cash? Let's just say I've got financing, I reply. And boy, did I scrape. Max my line of credit, called in a favor from a real estate buddy who hated HOAs even more than I did, sold off what I could. Trevor names his price. Big, but not insane. Can we close in 72 hours, I ask? If you're serious. I was. Wired the money, signed the papers, moved mountains. Meanwhile, I had a real structural engineer, not one of Elaine's friends, write up a proper report. Filed an appeal which froze their demo order. The county clerk stamped my paperwork, grumbled, told him 24 hours was nuts. 72 hours later, I walk out of the title office. The new owner of the land under their townhouse is the office and the only overflow parking lot in the subdivision. See, their houses are theirs, but the dirt underneath. Now that's mine. Their leases had this little clause: when the land changes hands, the new owner can raise rates to market at renewal. Guess what was up for renewal in 60 days? Everything. The night of the next HOA board meeting, I show up, clean boots, clean shave, Even wore a button down just for spite. On the agenda as landlord representative, they love a title, especially if they think it's theirs. Residents are there to argue about mailboxes, pool hours. When it's time for new business, Elaine launches into some speech about ongoing negotiations with Red Bluff Holdings. I interrupt. That's what I'm here to talk about. Elaine bristles. Excuse me, this is for board discussion only. I slide a folder onto the table, deed on top, new lease terms underneath my business card right after. As of last week, I say I own the land under your office, your premium rentals, your parking lot. The treasurer's jaw drops so hard I think he'll need a dentist. Elaine lets out a laugh, high, sharp, not happy. That's impossible. We'd have been notified you were, I say. By the deposit clearing, I slide the new leases across. Your old rates from 15 years ago. Here's the new ones. Market rate plus a little extra for what I like to call the 24-hour demolition surcharge. The treasurer's flipping pages squeaks out. This is 10 times what we're paying now. That's right, I say. You can pay or you can move your office and rental units elsewhere, which, let's be real, isn't going to happen. Residents start whispering. If we pay this dues, we'll triple, the treasurer stammers. Triple, a woman stands up and back. We already pay more than my folks' mortgage, so I offer them an alternative sign, this easement and non-interference agreement. I'll freeze your rent at a reasonable bump instead of 10 times. All you have to do is guarantee permanently no more complaints, no more threats, no more harassing my ranch or anyone who ever owns it again. You support a zoning overlay to protect my land. And oh, this is the best part, Elaine, you're going to read a public apology at the next community meeting. You could feel the mood swing suddenly. The residents aren't looking at me. They're glaring at Elaine. Let her pay it, someone shouts. She started this. The treasurer does some math, realizes my offer is the only way out. Elaine hisses. This is blackmail. No, I say. It's the free market. You love contracts, right? Well, congrats. They sign. Everything. Easement lease, apology statement. 2 weeks later, under some cheap string lights in the clubhouse, Elaine stands in front of everyone, voice trembling, reading off her lawyer-approved apology. The Row Ranch is a historically significant property. Previous actions by this board were misguided. Moving forward, we support its continued existence. Someone claps. Another resident shouts, "Does this mean we stop getting emails about his fence?" "Yes," she snaps. "For real." The demolition order quietly died. County attorney wanted nothing to do with the mess after my real engineer's report. The ranch got a protective zoning overlay. The agreement's on the books forever. The HOA, they pay me rent now, every month. Their rental income and that little office pay off my loan. I fixed up the barn, new paint, new beams, same color. Even started offering trail rides for the neighbor kids. Hung a sign at the gate, Red Row Ranch Est, 1924. Outlasted droughts, recessions, and one really annoying HOA. Every now and then I'll see board members shuffle in and out of their little office looking up at the ranch like maybe they finally get it. The ground underneath them changed, and there's not a thing they can do. Elaine. She quit a few months later. Cited health reasons. Unofficially, folks were just tired of paying extra for her personal vendetta. The new board's quieter. They wave when they pass by. One even joked maybe the ranch raises their property values. You know, maybe it does. Funny how that works. So, what's the lesson here? HOA boards love to talk about property rights until someone else knows how to use them better. They gave me 24 hours to erase my history. I gave myself 72 to buy the dirt under their feet. Next time I get a rent check, I smile, pat the envelope, and think, you told me to tear down my ranch. I just raised your rent tenfold instead. Out there on the hill, that old barn creaks in the wind, ugly to some, perfect to me. In the war between clipboards and land deeds, the land wins so long as the right person owns it. So, let me throw it to you. Have you ever tangled with an HOA or watched someone turn the tables like that? Do you think justice was served here, or was I just as ruthless as them? Drop your thoughts below. Can't wait to hear your stories. And hey, if you enjoyed this ride, share your own HOA nightmares or neighbor victories. Let's see whose saga is wilder.